Well, hello and welcome to Liturgy and Pentecostal Ministry. My name is Steve Spears, and I'll be facilitating this class. Each week, I'm going to offer an introduction video for the material for that week. In fact, there will be another introduction for the first week. And basically, what we do in those videos is we kind of go over the material, what chapters are to be read, if anything needs to be adjusted with the schedule, any assignments. Again, these are very informative videos, and let me encourage you to take the time to take those videos in. This class, this liturgical ministry, Pentecostal ministry class, it's designed to help you think critically, help stimulate your thinking on what a well-integrated model of worship would look like. And what we mean by integrated model is what Jesus said about the scribe who is well trained in the kingdom, right? He says that this scribe brings out the treasure that is new and what is old. And so what we're asking is, what would a well-blended worship model look like? A worship model that takes in the wisdom of the ancient church liturgies and practices and integrates them with our modern Pentecostal liturgies. And yes, Pentecostals have a liturgy to our worship. We have a form, we have a pattern. We call these liturgies. And you'll read about that as you get into Dan Tumberland's book, Pentecostal Sacraments. But before I talk about the text, let me just say a little bit about the syllabus and about the Populi class page. Both of these resources, the syllabus and Populi, will offer you everything that you need to succeed in this class. Of course, the syllabus has the textbooks that are required. It has the class schedule, when the assignments are due, but so does the Populi class website. On the syllabus and on the website, there are documents that I offer, supplements. There are writing helps that, again, please feel free to download them, keep them in your files. They'll not only help you in this class, but they'll also help you in other classes that you take. Okay, I've already mentioned it. I've already mentioned one of the textbooks. Let's talk about the reading assignments. The first book I want to mention, again, is Dan Tomberlin's book, Pentecostal Sacraments. And this is his second edition. But Dan is he's a bishop in the Church of God. He is a seminary professor. And in his monograph, he has offered us this understanding of the sacraments as they relate to the Pentecostal way of salvation, or what has been identified as the fivefold gospel. He equates the sacraments with what it means for Jesus to be Savior, Sanctifier, Spirit Baptizer, Healer, and soon coming King. It's a wonderful introduction to the sacraments that offers us kind of an introduction to sacramental theology that I believe can only enhance our Pentecostal understanding of the work of God among us. And I'm really looking forward to how you'll engage Dan's work. The second book that's required is by a man named James Smith, and he writes a book, You Are What You Love. Now, James is a Pentecostal. He's a Presbyterian Pentecostal. I mean, the Spirit moves in mysterious ways, right? And but no, James he's a good Pentecostal brother, and he writes this wonderful book on worship. And in this book, he claims that human beings are more than just thinking, more than just rational animals. That to be human is to be liturgical, to be a worshiping being. And in fact, in this book, he'll argue that you become what you worship. That is, you are what you love, or you are becoming what you love. And so this book is kind of an offshoot of a project that he did called Cultural Liturgies. And he'll talk about that in this book a little bit, and we'll talk about that. But this is a wonderful book on worship, and I really believe that you will be blessed to read through this and to be informed by his ideas of the formative power, really the formative power of our worship practices. And so we'll be going through those two books. The third requirement is actually an article. And this is a short article by Bishop Chris Green called The Altar and the Table. You can find this article on the syllabus page there. You can download it. If you have a problem with that, let me know. We'll get it to you. But the altar and the table. And Chris, he is a Pentecostal brother. He was raised in Pentecostal holiness tradition, but now he's a bishop to a charismatic Episcopal congregation. It's really, or a denomination. It's really interesting. But this article, what he does is he wants to integrate the practice of coming to the communion table and coming to the altar as Pentecostals are so used to, and integrating those together. And what does that look like? And so I'm going to be asking you to write a short paper on that. Let's talk about the assignments. Each week, you will be required to offer posts on the readings. This will be an engagement with your fellow students. Also, there'll be a post that you will engage me. I'm going to offer some insights and you will engage me. On the post for the students, what I'm asking you to do is make your initial post each week on Wednesday. We ask you to do that because if you post after Wednesday, then the other students can't engage you. This is meant to be a conversation. And so what we're asking you to do is get the requirements for the post in, your initial post in by Wednesday. And by that, what I mean is you're required to quote from the book. You're required to kind of comment on one of those posts. You're required to offer questions that arose in your readings on the books. And you're required to kind of give a critical reflection on what the reading was about. And again, you'll be required each week to engage both texts. So there's questions and quotes from each, and that's all written there in the discussion template that we offer. And so just follow that. Again, the first week might be a little sloppy, might be a little confusing. We'll get that all ironed out as we continue. But just follow the guidelines there and engage both of these texts each week. After you make your initial post on Wednesday, come back Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and engage the students on their posts and answer their questions. Ask them questions. This is a critical reflection on what's going on with the writings. And so what we're asking you to do is to, don't just say, hey, Joe, I really liked your comment on Smith this week. No, tell us what you liked. Engage, communicate, converse with one another. And again, as we go through the class, I'll give more specifics or make any adjustments that need to be made if that's necessary. Just let me say this too, and this is important. But as you read the textbooks and engage them, please feel free to disagree. This is critical engagement. We're not asking you to be mean-spirited or snarky, but go ahead and disagree if you want. Disagree with your other students. Disagree with me. That's fine. But again, we're not going to get mean-spirited here. And if it gets out of hand, we'll make some adjustments. But don't be afraid to disagree with one another. It's okay to disagree. We just want to do this in a cordial, orderly manner. So I'm sure we won't have any problems with that. And if we do, we'll go ahead and address them. But along with the discussion, there are 3 written assignments as well as 2 extra credit. I offer the extra credit because some of you are going to need that. Again, I want everybody to get an A in the class, but the final paper is a huge part of the class grade. It's about half the class grade. And some of you are good writers, and some of you are going to get A's on that paper, and that's fine. Some of you, I would say most of you, are probably going to get a B on that paper. Some of you will get C's, and all of you are going to want to get that extra credit in just in case you need that extra edge. So just let me encourage you to watch for those extra credit dates. There are due dates, and you need to get those in, and we'll talk more about that as the class goes on. But there is a paper due this week, and this paper is for my own benefit. This is an introduction. It goes beyond the posted introduction that you're going to give. This is something that you will submit to me by email. Again, it's going to have a cover sheet. You'll submit to me just basically Tell me where you're from. Tell me your ministry context. Let me know where you are in your studies. What are your educational goals? Maybe a little bit about your family. But really, I just want to I want to hear where you are, especially ministry wise and education wise. So just follow that. This paper is due Friday. The second paper is actually a reflection, excuse me, on Chris Green's article, "The Altar and the Table." What I'm asking you to do is to read through that article, critically engage it, give us your own insights, and just turn that in. Now, both of these papers are just pass-fail papers. You turn in the paper, you get an A. If you don't turn in the paper, you get an F. So just turn that in, turn those two in, and get them to me. And I will grade them. That is, I'll go through there and I'll make corrections, but I won't take off for the corrections. I'll make corrections and I'll send them back to you kind of so you can kind of see what I'm looking for. Now, the final paper, this is again the bulk of the grade of the class. This is like half the grade, and this is a research paper, and I'm going to ask you to critically engage one of the topics that we go through, whether in Smith's book or in Tomberlin's book. You can write on the sacraments, you can write on worship. We'll require you to get your topic approved. In other words, I don't want you to get in here at the end of the class and submit a paper on Bonhoeffer's model of discipleship. That's just not going to cut it. So submit your topic to me. I would say in the next few days, at least by the next week and a half, get that submitted to me and I'll approve it. And then start your research. Please, I can't overemphasize this. Start your research as soon as possible. You're going to want to get your sources. You're going to want to get your reading done, because you don't want to start researching your paper the second to the last week of class. You certainly don't want to wait till the last week of class. Get your topic in and start your research, and you're going to be in good shape. Now, this paper will be heavily graded. I will go through and I'll mark off on the format of the cover page. If it doesn't look like the cover page that I'm offering you, then I will take off. I will grade it for punctuation, for spelling, for the way you have your paragraphs, for your footnoting, for your bibliography. And this is where it gets a little tricky, because what we're asking for in this paper and in all the papers that you'll turn in at the seminary is for you to format your papers Turabian style, or what is known as a Chicago style formatting. They're both the same. It's just Chicago style, and it's Turabian, Kate Turabian, who actually gives us the books on it. And if you haven't had a writing class, and if you're not familiar with Turabian, please let me know, and I will guide you in that. There are some resources, again, on the syllabus page that will help you get through that. But I will be grading you on all that. And so, again, most of you are going to get a B on that paper. And if you get a B on the paper, most likely you'll get a B on the course. So you're going to want to get those extra credits. But in the paper, you have to have, 3 resources. Now, you can engage the books, that's fine, but you have to have 3 resources that are apart from the books. In other words, 3 academic resources, commentaries, or some other academic resource. I don't allow you to give me quotes or to resource articles that are from the internet. You can't just take an internet article and use it in your paper. That I'll mark off for that. You just can't do that. And so you'll have to use academic sources. Now, here's the key, right? Some of you aren't close to a library. And so what we're going to have to do is give you access to the ATLA database. And you have that here in Populi. You have access to ATLA. And this is going to be your source, your go-to source for articles. And you can go on there. Let's just say you're writing on communion. You can type in, search for communion, maybe, sacrament, whatever, and articles will come up on that, and you can get your academic articles from ATLA. And so uh, uh, please note, again, I'm just going to reemphasize, your sources have to be academic and they cannot come from the internet. And so again, we'll go through that next. This brings me up again now to the extra credit again. One of the extra credit um, assignments is actually to take 2 articles that I asked you to find and give me the footnote and the bibliography note for Turabian. And you'll get that on ATLA. And there's a way to do that. And what I'm going to do next week is I'm going to take you through those steps to find that. If you're not familiar with ATLA, you're going to want to watch that tutorial. And I'll give that to you next week. But the ATLA article assignment closes out on the 10th of November. So you're going to want to get these articles in, these resources or references to the articles in by November 10th. Now, after that, you won't get extra credit. So just keep that in mind. That's when it closes out. If you have any questions on that, let me know. The second extra credit is even easier than that. What I'm asking you to do is go to a high church worship service and write a 1-page reflection on what you experienced. Just a reflection on how did the service make you feel? Did you feel welcome? Did you feel uncomfortable? Were there aspects of the service that you were surprised? Or maybe there are aspects of the service that you really felt the Spirit moving. Or maybe there were just aspects that just really turned you off. Whatever, I'm asking you to go to an Eastern Orthodox, Episcopalian, or a Roman Catholic worship service and simply give me a 1-page reflection on that and turn that in. That paper is due Friday, December 1st. Again, let me reiterate, we're not talking about Baptists. We're not talking about, a Pentecostal or a free church or whatever. We're talking about a high church worship service, Eastern Orthodox, Episcopalian, or Roman Catholic. And just give me a reflection on that. And again, that extra credit will close out December 1st. All right. Well, I'm trying to think, is there anything else I need to communicate to you? If there is, I'll just bring it up in another video. I think that's it for now. Just let me reiterate, if there's any questions on the syllabus or what's required, just let me know. If you have any challenges with, maybe you don't have your books. That's always an issue and at various classes. Please let me know. I'll work with you this week. Definitely, you'll have to have the book by the second week, but let me know if you don't have the books, and we'll adjust some things. All of you have signed up for this class, so I'm assuming that your schedule is clear for the semester, that you'll be able to come to every class, you'll be able to finish your work. But excuse me, there are emergencies that come up. I know that. But the only way I can work with you is if you let me know ahead of time, if you let me know about them or see as soon as possible, so we can adjust things and make sure that we can accommodate any emergency that comes up. Just let me say this: you get the last week of class, say, "Hey, I haven't started my research yet. Can you give me some more time?" That's not an emergency. Get your research for your final paper going almost now. Even start now. Anticipate that I'm going to say okay to your topic. Okay. Enough of that. Again, if you have any questions, text me, email me, call me. Feel free. I think my phone number is on the website there. We're here for you. We want to make sure that you all succeed in this. And again, welcome to the class. We'll see you online. Bye-bye.